Fast, focused, and fearless, here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Death toll from Typhoon Karding has gone up to 10, while agriculture damage rose to over 1 billion pesos. The fatalities include the 5 rescuers who drowned in Bulacan. Deaths were also recorded in Zambales, Quezon, Bulacan, and Rizal. 8 other people are also missing. Typhoon Karding has also affected over 150,000 people, about a third of which are staying in evacuation centers. Damage to infrastructure is pegged at over 25 million pesos, while agricultural damage across Luzon is estimated at 1.3 billion pesos. Rice fields were the most damaged, with production loss pegged at 960 million pesos. Despite this, the Agriculture Department says the country's rice supply will still exceed demand for the rest of the year. Now, lawyers and students trooped to the UP College of Law to condemn former NTF-LCAC spokesperson Lorraine Badoy over her threatening statements against a Manila court judge. Former COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon led the protest and called for Badoy to be cited in contempt. Badoy made rounds online for posting threatening messages against Manila RTC Judge Marlo Magdoza Malagar. Last week, Judge Marlo ruled to dismiss the government's petition to declare CPP-NPA as terrorist groups.
Ito na yata ang pinaka-attack on the independence of the judiciary and our democratic ideals. Sana po, yun ang wish ko, na ipashowcase na yan si Lorraine Badoy at kung may ebidensya, contempt na siya. Yung contempt naman po, pwedeng 6 months ng kulong, pwedeng multa. Kaya sila namimihasa Wala silang takot.
More stories after this short break. Stay with us.
Speculation online from abroad and inside of China about Xi Jinping's whereabouts the last couple of weeks. But if you just look at the COVID-0 protocols, it requires all people returning from abroad to have 10 days of quarantine followed by, 7 days of quarantine followed by 3 days of home isolation. And this falls smack in line with those protocols. At least the public optics are that Xi Jinping essentially adhered to his own policies and his own protocols. But again, there's always speculation ahead of such a highly politically charged time like the Party Congress, which starts in 2.5 weeks. I remember when I was the China correspondent in 2012, 10 years ago, when Xi Jinping was first appointed, of course, General Secretary and President of China. He disappeared from public view for a few weeks, and there was lots of speculation, obviously, about his, dare I say, political standing. And that has resumed a little bit this time, especially since he made that overseas trip so close to the Party Congress. It's extremely rare for a party general secretary to go outside of China so close to what should be a leadership transition at the Party Congress. So all seems to be well. He was seen through state media as attending an exhibit in Beijing, hailing the successes of China over the last decade, of course, which he has been the ruler.
Morgan Stanley is the latest big bank, Steve, to predict China will likely ease COVID-0 restrictions by next year. It's interesting because there's not a lot of analysts that we're speaking to now that are willing to crystal ball gaze into what they might do after the Congress.
Yeah, that's always a difficult thing to predict what policy might come, especially, again, because of the Party Congress coming up in 2.5 weeks. But also you have the National People's Congress in March, where they act on a legislative basis on the directives that come from the Party Congress that starts October 16th. Predicting when COVID-0 might be relaxed is very difficult. However, Morgan Stanley is the latest of the big international investment banks to kind of earmark the spring of next year as a likely time that these COVID restrictions would be relaxed, because Goldman Sachs last week said China won't begin reopening until the second quarter of next year. Nomura sees possible opening after March. The NPC, by the way, is held every year in March. So we have to get through these politically charged events, and then maybe because of necessity, because slowing exports, slowing property market, the slowing economy is going to necessitate, according to many of these banks, an easing. And in particular, Morgan Stanley says this COVID-0 policy pressure will build because it kind of is at odds with common prosperity, with youth unemployment and other metrics really weakening.
And you're still watching One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Opposition groups at the lower house are questioning the 4.5 billion peso intelligence and confidential funds of the Office of the President. During the House plenary debates, Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel said the confidential funds could be used for salary increases of teachers, repairs of classrooms, as well as cash assistance. Navotas Congressman Toby Chanco, who stands as the sponsor of the OP's budget, said intel funds are crucial to national security. House lawmakers are looking to pass the proposed 2023 national budget before their recess on October 1st. The Philippine peso continues to tumble and could likely hit 65 against the greenback, according to some economists. Gerard de la Peña with the report.
Looks like the peso's decline isn't over yet. The local currency plunged to 59 pesos against the US dollar before closing at 58.98 on Wednesday. Experts said this is still due to further interest rate hikes in the United States.
Ang problema, nasa isang mundo tayo na halos 150 trillion ang pera na umiikot. So pag sinabing benta ko peso, bili ako dollar, goodbye tayo.
Salceda, an economist, added that the peso could even plunge to 65 pesos against the dollar. He noted that the biggest peso depreciation was pegged at over 50% between 1983 to 1986. And if the peso were to depreciate at the same rate since January this year, the local currency could be valued at 75 against the greenback. To help offset the peso's weakening, the Bangko Sentral has been on a rate hike spree, the latest of which was a 50 basis point hike. But Salceda says this is only a short-term solution.
Agrikultura, unahin mo, pasiguraduhin mo may makakain ng tao. Pangalawa, ayusin mo para po yung ating pong mga foreign exchange earners, katulad ng foreign direct investments, yun ang kailangan nun natin bigyan ng pansin. In other words, we need an economic transformation.
OFWs and their families who benefit from a stronger dollar are also feeling the pinch of higher commodity prices. This, as many food items consumed by Filipino families are imported.
Yun na nga, malaki yung bilhin. Makakauwi ka nga ng malaking pera, babawiin ka naman doon sa mga gastos mo sa pang-araw-araw. Pero ganoon, unti-unti rin mauubos pag hindi mo na-control yung pera mo.
High consumer prices have also seeped into the stock market as the local bourse entered bear territory on Tuesday. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
Tropical Depression Luis maintains its strength while moving north-northwest over the Philippine Sea. Luis was last seen some 1,060 kilometers east of extreme northern Luzon. Its wind speeds remain at 55 kilometers per hour with gustiness reaching up to 70 kilometers per hour. It is forecast to continue moving north-northwest before exiting the Philippine area of responsibility tomorrow morning. Tropical Depression Luis is not expected to bring rain in any parts of the country. The UAAP is all set for the opening of its 85th season this Saturday. The league will resume its other sports like football, swimming, tennis, and baseball. The UAAP basketball tournament will also adopt a new rule from FIBA, which allows coaches to have one challenge. Audience will be allowed at full capacity, although areas behind the team benches are off limits for health and safety reasons. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.